snakes are very dangerous as they possess either powerful venom or the ability to quickly strangle even large prey. Now you will witness cases where legless reptiles took on enemies beyond their capabilities. A jaguar can resist thanks to its claw strength, a porcupine may turn the snake into a cushion of needles, and even a mouse can strike a snake in a way that forces the reptile into a panicked retreat. The rattlesnake possesses an incredibly dangerous venom that destroys blood and the circulatory system. The venom of a rattlesnake ranks among the most toxic globally, and although it's not as potent as the taipan's venom, the dose from one snake bite can stop the heart of a mountain lion in just a few minutes. The crucial part is that the rattlesnake excels at using its main weapon. It has incredible speed. The snake coils its body into a zigzag shape and then straightens out as if shooting forward. To combat rattlesnakes, mongooses were introduced to America over a century ago. However, the agile creature that successfully battles giant cobras in his homeland in Asia proved to be insufficiently fast against the rattlesnake. To capture the bite of a rattlesnake on camera, one has to significantly slow down the recording. Otherwise, the strike simply won't be visible. The mongoose couldn't evade the rapid, bullet-like throw. Of course, rattlesnakes have their enemies, but now facing them is a common small rodent. The snake doesn't expect a trick and employs its usual tactics. It approaches the prey, carefully creeps up to it, and swiftly lunges forward to inject its venom. But an incredible surprise awaits the snake. This long-legged mouse turns out to be an extraordinary fighter. It's rightfully called a kangaroo mouse. These rodents are known not only for their long hind legs, but also for their combat skills. Even though the mouse doesn't have close relatives among marsupials, it doesn't lag behind them in bravery. Admit it, you don't really expect such agility from a little mouse with cute ears now, do you? Such incredible super speed is the result of long-term evolution. These mice have lived alongside rattlesnakes for generations, and in order to survive, rodents had to become remarkably agile. Where the mongoose hesitates, an ordinary mouse proved fast enough to easily dodge the rattlesnake's throat. Do you think that this is a coincidence or just pure luck? The rattlesnake thought so too, and continued the attack, but it clearly didn't realize who it was dealing with. It seems this mouse doesn't follow the laws of gravity at all, and at the same time is able to accelerate like a racing car. It literally slipped out of the rattlesnake's mouth several times in a row. But the main thing is, the rodent turned out to be not only so fast, but also brave. It twisted in the air and not only avoided the snake's fangs, but also delivered a devastating blow straight to the snake's head. The rodent's mass isn't very large, but to develop such jumping speed, its paws must be incredibly strong. If relative to your body mass, your legs could exert proportional force, you could jump the height of a third floor without a run-up and effortlessly topple lightweight cars with a single hit. The mouse's strike stunned the snake. Not only is it painful, but it's also pretty humiliating. The rattlesnake had to retreat. The courage and speed of this mouse deserves your like, I would say, doesn't it? Another rodent, known as the grasshopper mouse, can perform a similar feat. It doesn't fend off the snake, but thanks to incredibly strong hind legs, it can leap right out of the reptile's mouth. However swift a rattlesnake might be, this time it clearly made a mistake in choosing its prey. The bird lacks a sharp curved beak or powerful talons. Hence, it seems like a suitable prey for the snake. Wow, the reptile made a big mistake in underestimating this feathered creature. The bird doesn't need a sharp beak. It grabs the snake's head so that it can't twist and bite. Then the bird rapidly strikes the snake's head against rocks. Several crushing blows break the snake's neck and inflict critical damage to its skull and spine. Eventually, the snake becomes the prey. Curious, is this an instinctive behavior or a skill adult birds train their offspring for? What do you think? Let us know in the comments. By the way, do you know what bird this is? This is a roadrunner. It served as the prototype for that cute little animated character that constantly escapes from the coyote. Now you'll know that this beep beep is actually a tough fighter. The anaconda is considered one of the most dangerous snakes on Earth. While there are pythons that surpass it in length, the anaconda's body is considered the thickest and densest. The snake's body is as thick as a young tree. Additionally, the anaconda's body consists of taut muscles like steel cables. And when the snake captures prey, it unleashes its full power upon it. Like other reptiles, the anaconda isn't built for prolonged chases, especially without limbs. However, it has a strong affinity for water and predominantly inhabits swampy areas among rivers and streams flowing into the Amazon. Water supports the snake's weight, allowing it not only to stealthily approach animals at watering holes, but also to swiftly attack them, and then pursue them in water, and maneuver at incredible angles during struggles with their prey. The anaconda's rapid strike concludes by coiling its body around the victim. The snake's weight alone, akin to a small motorcycle, immobilizes the enemy. The anaconda then gradually tightens its coils, breaking the prey's bones and preventing it from breathing. This strangulation might not be elegant, but the anaconda's hunting tactics make it one of the most effective predators among the reptiles. It's feared by large deer, crocodiles, and primates. However, not by jaguars. When this predator spots an anaconda, it leaps into battle. The jaguar is the third largest big cat after the tiger and lion. However, to be honest, the larger Asian and African panthers are fortunate that jaguars live only in South America. While it may be smaller than some distant relatives, it's certainly not weaker. The jaguar is known as a predator with real superpowers. Its bite is several times more powerful than that of a lion. While a lioness strangles its prey during a hunt, the jaguar brutally crushes the skull. Such behavior is not a result of cruelty. The jaguar has adapted to survive in the most challenging conditions. Due to the diverse climate of the Amazon basin, it has become home to thousands of dangerous animal species competing with each other. To cope with armored, aggressive, and hazardous animals, the jaguar had to become a strong and versatile fighter. However, all its arsenal wouldn't help if the snake managed to entwine the cat with its entire body. The jaguar, being an intelligent creature, avoids such a scenario. Its incredible agility allows it to evade each snake strike as if the spotted predator can foresee the future and anticipate the direction of every attack. Moreover, the incredible strength of the jaguar enables it to resist an anaconda attempting to grasp the cat's head. The jaguar tenses its powerful muscles, pulls its head out of the grip, and then bites the snake and drags it despite its enormous weight. Most importantly, it's the agility that makes the jaguar the only creature capable of fighting and defeating an anaconda in its favorite element, that is, water. The anaconda realized too late that it engaged with the wrong adversary. Certainly, this impressive battle of titans doesn't have a definitive winner. The jaguar constantly risks, and a single mistake could cost it its life. However, thanks to the complete concentration of its powers, the spotted cat emerges as the victor in this fight. The anaconda becomes its legitimate prey, sustaining the jaguar for several days. Whose side were you on? Share your thoughts in the comments. We're curious to know where your sympathies lie, with reptiles or the big cats. The polar bear is the largest land predator of our time among all mammals. On its hind legs, this monster can rise more than 10 feet above the ground, 3 meters. And some males, according to unconfirmed reports, can reach a mass of about a ton. If the prey has fallen into the clutches of a polar bear, it has almost no chance. Huge pinnipeds, which are capable of destroying cars, panic at the sight of this predator. For him to attack a herd of sea elephants is like going to the supermarket for you. The polar bear is not afraid of the cold. It's the cold that's afraid of the polar bear. But it turns out that loyalty to your master can work real miracles. This dog is big and strong, but for a polar bear, he is like a bicycle to a truck. A larger predator can simply trample such an opponent. But what is it? The dog found the bear's only weak spot and clung there. It turns out that the nose of a predatory giant is a very sensitive place. It is not covered by either a thick layer of adipose tissue or fur. Therefore, when the dog clung to it with his fangs, it stopped even such a huge thing. That's when the bear underestimated his enemy and messed with the wrong guy. You can't blame him either. Who would have expected such cool combat data from a dog? This is an extra-class fighter. Self-confidence, concentration, and skill are the 3 pillars on which the successful tactics of any fighter rests. Look at these rodents. It turns out they're like hobbits. Well-fed and pleasant at first glance, but formidable fighters if necessary. Their endurance can only be envied. Look at this epic confrontation with the lynx. It seems that in front of you is an ancient warrior with the bearing of a real officer. Pay attention to this aristocrat's posture. It's so cold and contemptuous to look into the face of danger when you are attacked by a whole pack of dogs. That's endurance. But it turns out that this is not the desperate calm of a creature that is ready for its end. It's part of the real battle tactics. The dogs underestimated the enemy. It turned out that the baby spread his paws and puffed out his chest in such a way that he reacted with lightning speed to any attempts to throw himself off balance. As soon as the dogs turn from intimidation to active actions and pounce on the baby, the rodent does not give up, but goes on a counterattack. No one expected such fury from him. These dogs clearly underestimated the enemy, who turned out to be a real warrior. Just look at how desperately he fights back. And at the same time, the baby acts prudently and effectively. But as for his size, the dog is like a huge wolf from that movie about Thor, remember? How would you react to the approach of such a monster? This beautiful chase looks incredibly epic. The hare is faster than wolves, but they also have great speed. And they are trying to drive the victim. Wolves are able to act amazingly smoothly. The hare thinks that he has almost escaped from the trap, but falls almost into the mouth of a predator. Only incredible maneuverability allows the hare to slip almost out of the predator's fangs. If the wolves were saved, then what is a lynx? A lone predator capable of. It turns out that the hare underestimated the opponents and paid for it. He didn't know that the pads of lynx paws work like snowshoes. Thanks to this advantage, the cat managed to catch up with the victim. About 60 years ago, people were a little surprised by a photo in which the artist Salvador Dalí was walking a tame anteater. But now we know. It was not a quirk of a creative personality, but a subtle calculation. Because one anteater is worth 3 Dobermans in battle. Surprisingly, these clumsy at first glance animals are real bullies who are only happy to fight for any reason. If this is the first time you've heard about it, well, for many other animals, this is also a surprise and a very unpleasant one. It is obvious from the name of the animal that the anteater feeds on ants and termites, that is, insects that live in large colonies and build huge nests. This is what his elongated head with an incredibly long sticky tongue is adapted for. But many people overlook the fact that getting involved with ants is in itself a task for someone with very strong nerves. Have you ever fallen on an anthill and felt dozens of painful bites in the most sensitive places? Well, for an anteater, this is an ordinary Tuesday. But the main thing is that in order to dig underground colonies, these animals have incredibly strong and large clawed paws. Of course, the excavator is a construction equipment. But can you imagine what would happen if an ordinary moped crashed into him? Then you can imagine what will happen to some medium-sized predator if an anteater's paw crashes into it. Here, the dogs do not behave very decisively, as they see the anteater for the first time. But even a small individual is able to scare off a large dog with its iron character and strange stance. Do you think the kid was lucky? No, the dog was lucky to retreat in time. Here, everything turned out differently. A jaguar, one of the largest predators on the planet, capable of hunting caimans and anacondas, lay quietly in the thickets. But the anteater doesn't care. He's in the mood to punch someone in the face. The jaguar is coming. The cat clearly underestimated the threat and did not immediately realize that it was best to run and climb a tree somewhere. Therefore, the anteater gets a great chance to come up to a close distance and hit the jaguar several times so that the cat is simply shocked by these cuffs. Finally, the jaguar tries to counterattack. He pounces on the anteater and knocks him to the ground. But for this animal, such a blow is like a friendly hug. It seems that this strange animal enjoys such a warm-up. In the end, the jaguar simply has no chance but to run far away. The anteater has a very strong hide and jet fur that works like dynamic armor. But his main weapon is a special combat tactic. The anteater can strike single blows with its huge claws if it wants to attack. But he defends himself. He rises on his hind legs. Then the tail of some species can serve as a balancer. In this stable position, the anteater can stand for a very long time. And most importantly, it is able to spin around its axis, so it is almost impossible for at least one enemy to approach it from behind. And from this rack, he delivers a crushing blow with his claws. The anteater's claws are combined into one huge stable blade. The animal strikes in a wide arc, using a swing that enhances the already enormous power of claws accustomed to digging. In the Middle Ages, plate armor began to be made to protect against enemies' swords. In a direct blow, more than one blade could not penetrate it. Then the knights began to use powerful war hammers, which on the one hand had a shock part, and on the other, a spike. This thorn opened the enemy's shell like a tin can. So the anteater's blows work about the same way, like a medieval spiked hammer. At the same time, the animal does not strike single blows, but beats fast boxing series. And even that's not all. An anteater can grab an enemy, hook it with its claws, hold it up, and bend it under itself. After that, he will begin to trample and tear it with his claws, while the victim is defenseless under its weight. Perhaps this funny scene is an example of what an error in the evaluation of the opponent means. Some birds are so cool that even the bars for them are not a hindrance. As they say, a truly free person remains so even locked up. That's how this predator is. He was having a quiet lunch when a passing bird decided that he could take away his threat and nothing would happen to her for it. Mistake. The predator blocks the victim's head with the lightning movement. The thief will definitely remember this lesson. Koalas give the impression of cute and lively plush toys with the same gentle character. Well, this individual is clearly not like that. She cruelly throws off a relative from a tree who somehow did not please her. The crying of an offended koala is heartbreaking. Well, let this be a lesson. Do not judge a koala by stereotypes like a book by its cover. In general, it is impossible for stereotypes about animals to make you forget about vigilance. This chicken thought that the giant above her was a good-natured vegetarian, a stereotypical mistake. For some strange reason, this particular horse suddenly wanted to eat chicken, and she started literally vacuuming the ground in search of chickens. The chicken is in shock. He just doesn't know what to do. She is not able to protect the young from this giant, and she will not be able to collect and evacuate the chickens in time because they are too scattered. As a result, the horse has diversified its menu quite well. Which case, when the animals made a mistake in choosing an opponent, struck you the most? Share your opinion in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe. We have a lot of unusual things that we would love to show you.